Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Phil and Ryan on Listen Up. Ryan, you have the game recap right now.
Yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed their Valentine's Day. The Huskies topped theirs off with an 86-40 win. Ashland Shade had about 50 to 70 people in attendance for tonight's game, so she was definitely feeling the love on Valentine's Day. This game wasn't really close as we expected. The starters got more rest than usual tonight. Paige and Aaliyah got the scoring started for UConn, and after that, everybody started to really heat up. Xavier just unable to really do anything on either side of the ball. Between the first and second quarter, UConn scored 32 unanswered points, so a 32-0 run, and Xavier went on a 13-minute scoring drought. That pretty much sums up how this game went. The score at halftime was 50-13. Aaliyah was one rebound away from a double-double, and UConn had 20 points from the Musketeers, 12 turnovers. The third quarter continued with more domination from UConn, outscoring Xavier 20-5. And it wasn't until the fourth quarter that Xavier scored over double-digit points. They scored 22 points in the final quarter to make the score a little bit closer than what it felt like in the end. But UConn had a season high 56 rebounds tonight. Ice Brady recorded her first double-double with 11 points and a team-high 14 rebounds. Aaliyah Edwards also recorded yet another double-double. Caden Samuels scored 10 points off the bench, receiving 23 minutes tonight. Paige Beckers scored 20 points. Nika with 11 assists, and KK Arnold recorded 5 steals and 8 points. So, as we'd like to say, everybody ate tonight for UConn. Definitely good to see them with a little bounce back win. The starters got more rest with that tough loss from South Carolina. So UConn returns home Friday night for senior night against Georgetown.
Yeah, credit ESPN for this. UConn breaks the game open in a big way, holding Xavier scoreless for large stretch between the first and second quarters, a 32-0 run. So to me, that was a highlight. I'm sure everyone else agrees. I'm sure you agree. That was a highlight of the night. And that was pretty impressive, even though it was against a now, 1-21 team. Pretty impressive when you can do stuff like that. Still undefeated in Big East, right, Ryan? And I
Yeah.
think that correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that you have them finishing undefeated in the Big East. Even though we are faced with some very tough reality check, usually something that doesn't run through UConn, rather, mid-February. It's a harsh reality check. You know what I mean, as well as everyone else. But I think that they do have enough to stack up and go undefeated in their conference this season.
Yeah, and of course, just 5 games left after this game tonight, and really the only tough game is against Creighton next Monday. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they should be able to win that game, returning home for Creighton as well, or staying home for Creighton, as they already beat them in Omaha, I believe, at Creighton. So, yeah, I think they're going to finish undefeated in the Big East. Didn't predict that in the beginning of the season. We thought the Big East might be a little better, but UConn, fortunately just ran through everybody in the Big East this season, despite Marquette and Creighton being a little better. But yeah, the competition level just not quite there for the Big East again. So maybe next year they'll be a little better. But I know Villanova lost a couple players, DePaul lost a couple players. So yeah, UConn definitely taking advantage of a weaker Big East team schedule, conference play this season.
Can't wait to cover the WNBA draft with you. We're going to do our best for that. Boy, exciting times coming. I know we have to get through March. I get that. But there are a lot of exciting times coming even after the likes of March Madness. Let's go over to some comments, Ryan, and then I will see you Friday night. Marcia Clark says, I think this might just be a tough year for UConn. Gino recognizes this, but it happens. UConn has been spoiled in the past with all their success, but it doesn't mean that you give up. Players play because they love the game. Coaches love to win, but a coach also loves to help and motivate players through the good times and difficult times. He's doing the right thing. He's a great coach.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy spot to be in for Gino, but of course he has so much experience where it's really, pretty easy for Gino to get through these situations and scenarios, you can say. So yeah, I think Gino's doing a pretty good job handling things, and as far as the whole coaching staff, as far as that goes. But hopefully UConn, like we said, can finish the regular season off on a high note, starting out pretty good tonight. But yeah, hopefully they can end it out on a high note and get some momentum rolling for March Madness.
Lindsay Matthews says, so is Sarah Strong coming to UConn? And if she does, will that really make a difference? She would have to be a team player, not a Caitlin Clark clone. At UConn, there is no I in the word team. And you know what goes along with that, Ryan? As big of a fan as I am of Paige Beckers, there will be if there is someone that comes along like Caitlin Clark, there won't be a Caitlin Clark for an awful long time.
Yeah, not sure. Well, I mean, I'm sure we said it about the Kelsey Plum record that it never got broken, and of course, Caitlin Clark's about to break it. So you never know. But yeah, I don't think it's a high possibility that we'll ever see quite another Caitlin Clark for probably a really long time. But of course, we do have Ali Zabel and Morgan Shelley already coming. So I'm not sure if that factors into Sarah Strong's decision, but we'd love to have even more talent. We'd love to get all the recruits we can, especially with all these injuries happen now. It seems like you can't have enough depth anymore as far as UConn goes. But yeah, I hope she does decide to come to UConn. But if not, we already have two great, fantastic guards already signing with UConn in the future.
Why are we still talking about the 5 injured players? They are not there and will not be there. You have to win with what you have, not with what you don't have. You don't have 70 points sitting on the bench. You have 5 at the most with Q and S DeBrady, not DeBrady, excuse me, Brady and DeBerry. The last 4 are non-contributors. Why? He won't play in Nest for some unknown reason. Maybe he doesn't like um, Q thinks she's the only shooter on the team. Brady and DeBerry look lost in fantasy land where they just hang around the foul line and shoot jumpers all night. Okay, so bottom line, not to even finish off this comment, I'll go and tell you this, Ryan. I wasn't going to really bring it up like this, but I'll go and say it anyway. The reality check I was talking about is it's a long shot. Okay, we get it. We all know that you get it. Ryan gets it. We talk about them, Ryan, because we just said it, and I'll have to put myself on repeat mode again. There is next year, and that's okay to say.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Like we said, I just hate to keep saying the same thing over and over about the injuries, but it's so hard not to when it plays such a big part, or it has played such a big part in the last 3 years. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough, pretty much. I mean, there's not much you can do. There's nothing to control the injuries, but yeah, I think UConn's been playing the best with what they do have, making the most of the situation like they have in the past. And I think for the most part, they've been playing pretty good basketball. But yeah, I mean, as far as Ines and Amari goes, like I said, I don't think Gino really trusts them yet to play more minutes. In my opinion, I don't think they're really ready for more minutes as well. And or when when the score is close. But yeah, I mean, I think UConn's doing pretty good with the situation they have.
I think it's an overreaction, if you ask me. I think that it, again, just focused on this season, but Paige, I'm seeing comments, Paige is done. Gino will retire soon. Look, hopefully they're talking about just because of their overreacting to this season and they're upset because Ryan, let me tell you again, good Lord willing, there is a 2024/25, right? So, I mean, and let's go ahead on that note, let's go and talk about why it is important to, especially during the offseason, to talk about the players that are returning from injury next season, because without them, I'll go and say it now, without them, it's another long shot So why not go ahead and talk them up early? Because 24-25 is coming quicker than you think, Ryan. Again, final score tonight, it was UConn, what, Ryan? 86-40 over Xavier. No last check-in against Georgetown, as I will see you right back here Friday night for the Georgetown and UConn game recap on Listen Up.